Do I feel good today? We woke up. We're breathing. We're together. We're a family. We're a universe. Welcome into your daily sports brand of record. I'm your boy, the coach, and it is a glorious Tuesday on one of the biggest weeks of the entire year.
I guess that's me to step in. So welcome everybody to Driving the Line. Looks like Coach might be a little frozen right now. I'm not sure. Coach, are you good? You might be a little unfrozen.
I'm good. Am I good?
You're good now? Go ahead.
Oh, what the hell just happened? All right, now let's start over. Welcome into your daily sports and sports betting rant. Sometimes tech takes over. As I was saying last night, good night for games as far as action is concerned. 6-point win for the Falcons. Awful. The Vikings, they took care of business, but again, a boring game. How do we do at the brand? Well, we had guys that had really good nights, and we had guys that didn't have really good nights. I was one of those with the bad nights. AB, kind of a ho-hum night for him, but DG coming through strong last night. Justin Jefferson, 6 yards short of hitting his yardage total. He dropped a 40-yard touchdown, or I would at least been 2-2. But you have days like that when the narrative, nothing happens in a football game, and nothing, props are props. It's kind of what happens. On your end, by the way, you guys know we have so much content here at the brand. Hit that like button for me. It really helps the show grow. And also, turn on your notifications because every single time we start any show, you will be notified, including our brand new podcast that we do every single day. It's about 20 to 30 minutes, never longer than a half hour. You get the audio around 2 p.m. Eastern, the video for premium members at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Well, you know, on Tuesdays, we've got a lot to look forward to. We've got Super Salad on the way. We have a brand new At the Break. You don't want to go anywhere. You guys have been asking for more hockey picks. We're going to give you hockey picks today. All right? So without further ado, what is the Howie Schwab Crew play of the day? Voting on today. Here are the selections. Memphis, college basketball taking center stage, or North Carolina and Florida. You can vote right at the bottom of the screen, and we will reveal the decision by all of you so we can root together. Remember, it's about synergy and doing it together. I'm kind of in my feels today a little bit because I love getting on days like today. Tuesday's always the kind of depressed day. Not today. Not when you got college football. Not when you've got NFL football. Not when you got the best damn crew in the business. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the picks. Okay, look who I have today. An embarrassment of riches. Let's start with the man who had the best night last night. He gets the 15 seconds today. Live, ladies and gentlemen, from Memphis, Tennessee. DG, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Coach. Good morning, crew. Honestly, we're having some Wi-Fi issues as always, but I thought it was more on my end, and then I saw it was your end, so I was thankful that it wasn't just me, but I'm excited. It's a Tuesday. Some people like to bounce back. We're kind of keeping it going.
You're damn right. When you go 365, something you got to understand, you're going to have days where you lose. You're going to have days where you break even. That's what happens when you're 365, and we are 365. Now, next, he is live from the dirty Big Chuck. Charles, good morning, sir.
Morning, Coach Crew. Yeah, I also thought that was my Wi-Fi for a second, sputtering out on me. So I was, thankfully, I was happy to see you come back. But yeah, disappointing day yesterday. But what we do, we keep our blinders on. New day has arrived, so excited to get it going.
Oh, it's the new day. Oh man, boy, they turning heel. I don't know about them turning heel. Shout out to Beyond the Script. Thank you for that super sticker. You guys know all of those really help the show grow from a production standpoint. So thank you, Beyond the Script, and for that message. Now, on Tuesdays, these two have become absolute bitter rivals. When they get out of bed in the morning, they're thinking about the other all morning long. They can't wait to get to this moment. Now, first and foremost, out of respect, he is our OG. Best beard in the damn game. Soupy, good morning, sir.
Good morning, everybody. Today is officially the start of bowl season. We've got games throughout the year, and of course, the college football playoffs start this weekend.
Did you say throughout the year? We have games throughout the year?
We're 2 weeks left in the year.
That's very, very true. That's very true. And then, ladies and gentlemen, he is our youngster. And as you can see, finals week is over. He is back in the friendly confines. King Lettuce, Little Lettuce, Lettuce King, Young Peyton, whatever we call you. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Coach. Good morning, crew. You know, I didn't think last night's Monday night slate would be that boring, but unfortunately it was, both games. And I was on the plane, so I was forced to watch them both because that's all Southwest had.
It was awful. You were flying Southwest?
Southwest, yes, sir.
Dad gets haircuts in Beverly Hills, but he flies Southwest.
Exactly. I got to talk to Papa Roger on that one. Are you kidding me? I know there's a straight flight on American to Orange County. You fly LAX or Orange County?
Well, besides all of that, I fly LAX. But, Coach, on the way back from LA to Texas for from Thanksgiving, he had me flying Frontier.
Oh, God. Don't even get me started. They were just in front of Congress. How much do they charge for a carry-on? $100?
$100.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Oh.
Brian says King Lettuce in the house today looks exactly like these high school students I am looking at right now. Well, Brian, if you are teaching your class right now while you're watching DTL, respect. Quickly, before we get into our picks for the day, GG, you had our best night last night. The only good thing that came out of it is that we hit a parlay on the money line. The teams that we thought would win and cover did. I just don't know how excited either team should be with how they're playing right now, even though they're both in the playoff race. What did you make of their performances last night?
Well, I think we'll go the negative first. If you talk about Atlanta Falcons, they should have lost that game. They kind of played with their food and couldn't get out of their own way. Kirko Change is still having so many issues that it's just unspeakable at this point. But you're talking about the Minnesota Vikings. I think this was a business decision, business trip, and a business game. I think they took care of business as they needed to and got out of that game to move on.
We got really close to hitting that no-fly zone parlay last night. Oh, we had 3 parts of a big Chuck. We needed, a Caleb Williams interception? Is that all we missed? Was Caleb Williams? Wow, got really close. I was doing the last word, and the Raiders threw an interception on the last play, and I thought we needed the Raiders instead of the Bears, and I got super excited. No offense to your segment. But then I realized it wasn't Caleb Williams, and it wasn't the Bears. Big Chuck, what'd you make of last night?
I think it kind of went how we expected. The Vikings, they dominated, and it barely stayed under. But we've noticed about the Vikings, over is never safe with them. They just keep their foot on the pedal, so they're always going just nonstop. So that if you have an under with them, it's never safe. And then the Falcons, they barely escaped Vegas, so it wasn't pretty, but they got the job done.
A lot of playoffs this week in fantasy, Big Soupy. Anybody happy?
Not happy if you had Darnell Mooney, Jacoby Myers, just looking at last night. If you had Cooper Kupp, you are probably done for the year. But if you had Josh Allen, like I did, you're moving on.
Oh, my God. Look at him bragging about his 1 out of his 8 leagues that he made it to the playoffs in. All right, guys, let's get into our picks for the day because we've got a lot of them, and there's a lot of sports that are going on today. Let's chop yours up, Big Chuck, because you're looking forward a little bit this week because there's not a ton of soccer today. Let's start with Villarreal and Heidenheim. What do we got there?
Today's definitely light. This is going to be on Wednesday. Well, I apologize. This is going to be on Thursday. This is Europa League, Europa Conference League action, Heidenheim, St. Gallen. We're going to go with the both teams to score in the over 2.5 with Heidenheim averaging 1 team goal at home in European play, while St. Gallen, they average 2 team goals away from home. And then Chelsea, this is just basically a blowout spot. They face Shamrock. Chelsea come in. They are averaging 6 team goals at home through the Europa Conference League. So we're going to take Chelsea first half team total over 1.5 goals and Chelsea team total over 3.5. This is a 4-0, 5-0, 6-0. You could get crazy with this one.
So you just gave me all 4 plays right there, Chuck?
No, I gave you the Europa Conference. I chopped it. I left you the Wednesday.
So when I said Villarreal and Heidenheim, you decided to do the other two instead.
Well, no, you said, yeah, well, okay. You said that one. So I kind of was, I heard the Heidenheim. So I was like, do I just go to that one? So my apologies there, Coach. I was on the fly with that one, but I would be more than happy to give you the Villarreal Rayo. I've got that one.
Please. Why don't we do that?
Yeah.
We're flowing right now. We're flowing.
We're on
Go
the
ahead.
flow. Both teams have scored. They've actually cashed this in 7 of their last 10. I see a 1-1, 2-1 type of match. That goes off on Wednesday, by the way. And then the Europa Conference, that goes off Thursday. Definitely looking ahead.
Boom and boom. Thank you, Big Chuck. All right, Soupy,
Absolutely.
2 big plays today. What do we got?
I'm starting with the rank for tonight. Kings, Penguins, Kings. Best defense in the league. Best blue line in the league. They're allowing the fewest goals, fewest shots on goal. They've been winning a lot of games, 3-1, 4-1. Going against the Penguins, they are barely above 3 goals. They do allow a lot of goals, but the Kings, they're about average on offense. So I think this stays under the 6 goals. And we're going to go with the game that is tomorrow, UNLV, California. California, no Fernando Mendoza, so they don't have their starting quarterback, but UNLV does. Haj Malik Williams stepped in for Matthew Sluka, and he's been great this year. 62% completion rate, 26 total touchdowns, and UNLV's defense 37th in points allowed per game, and most of them have stayed on the team, so they'll be starting, and I think they get this done in pretty much a pick 'em, but I would take the -1 because that has the better odds.
The portal is driving me absolutely bananas. 2 games tomorrow, by the way. The Howie Schwab Crew play of the day, that Memphis, West Virginia, is football. Just to make that very, very clear. All right, DG, coming over to you. You got 1 in each.
Yeah, we're going to go with the hardwood first. It's going to be Jacksonville State against Missouri. We're going to go over the 146.5. It's at -115. Both these teams are very efficient, but I can expect this game to get into the 70s for both teams. But if not, I'm looking at an 82-68 kind of game. We're going to go over there. Should get up to at least 150 points. Then we're going to go to football. One of the best bowls so far, and the only bowl so far, is the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl. So we're going to go with the Memphis team total because I trust the quarterback who grew up in Denton, Texas, going back to his final game there in Fort Worth, Texas. He's going to lead his team, who is a very good offensive scoring team, just to over 31.5 points at -108.
Boom and boom. Fort Worth is where young Peyton goes to college at TCU. All right, Peyton, I know you got your up in about 20 minutes or so from right now. I'm excited for that, but I'm also excited for these 2 plays. What do we got?
Yes, sir, Coach. I'm sticking with the NBA Cup final tonight. The Thunder to cover the spread, -5 at -108. The Bucks are going to have a hard time scoring tonight against the Thunder defense. They got guys flying around, like rotating like crazy. They have the better athletes if you look at the matchups, and they have the best defensive rating in the league. I think the Bucks are going to have a hard time scoring, which is their primary way of winning games right now in the NBA. I'm also going to go with the New York Rangers money line at -105 in their own building. They're coming off back-to-back losses, and they're just too good of a team to lose 3 games in a row in their own building, and for it to be against the Nashville Predators, who are just not looking good, not playing good hockey right now.
All right, very good. And we do have some prize picks coming up. A lot of picks from that NBA Cup game tonight. Only one game on the docket. It is the Bucks. It is the Thunder. We'll get way more into that in about 20 minutes. I'm going to dip out of our break to try to fix this Wi-Fi issue. But you guys have been asking a lot about hockey. And so DG took it upon himself to talk to Mark Better. What's his name in the chat? I always forget. Better Days Ahead. Better Days Ahead. So what do we have? You have about 20 seconds to explain what we're going to be doing moving forward.
Yeah, so we have Mark. He's part of Weekend Wagers, right? And so he's coming in just kind of drop 2 good picks of hockey to make sure that kind of give you all a little bit that you've been missing out on the rink. So make sure you kind of tune in because his knowledge is vast. And so I know a lot of people are on it. So just want to make sure we everybody check it out.
All right. Every single Tuesday, every single Thursday, you will get hockey picks from the Weekend Wagers crew. It will be at the first break, so you guys don't want to miss it. You want to make sure you're here at the top of the hour. We're just getting started. It's a Tuesday. Pump your because it's a vibe. All right, you degenerates. Let's see what Mark has for us today. The very first hockey play, 90 seconds less. Roll tape, producer man.
Good morning, Coach. Good morning, crew. This is Mark with your 90-second skate around the rink. where I bring to you the top 2 NHL plays that we have for tonight's slate. Let's jump right into it. For my first play, we're going to go to Chicago, where the Washington Capitals are taking on the Chicago Blackhawks. I'm going to take the Washington Capitals on the 3-way money line, and that's at -105. I love this spot for the Capitals tonight because they are on the second night of a back-to-back, and not only are they 5-1 on the season in those games, but they've also outscored the opposition by an average of 2.5 goals. Look for them to take care of business against an inferior Chicago Blackhawks team within regulation. For my second stop, we're going to go just a little bit north, a little bit east, over to Montreal, where the Buffalo Sabres are taking on the Montreal Canadiens. I'm going to take the Buffalo Sabres on the first period money line, and that's at -125. I love this spot for the Sabres because, one, they're on a 10-game losing streak, but more importantly, in those 10 games, they are 6-1-3 in the first period, which means that they start out really fast and finish really poorly. Look for them to do something similar against a Montreal team that gives up a ton of goals in the first period to begin with. I love this spot for the Sabres. Coach, that's going to do it for me. I'm going to send it back to you and the guys. You guys have a great rest of the show, and we'll see you all at the pay window.
You're damn right, Mark. How about that? Let them know what we think about Mark doing extra work for the crew and giving out. Those are the 2 plays from Mark. Capitals 3-way on the money line and the Sabres first period, money line at -125. Zach says that's a daily content that we need. You're damn right. So every Tuesday and Thursday right now, and then as the season moves along after football's over, maybe we'll increase it. We'll see how it goes. Not bad, DG. Setting that up. Pretty nice. I'll give you credit. You won't say nothing? Are you on mute, or can I not hear?
Yes, I was on mute. Sorry. I double muted myself.
You muted yourself.
That's me.
All right. We got a lot of NFL to get into. It's week 16. There are games all over the board. We are back live, you degenerates, in just 5 seconds. Okay, welcome back, everybody. DTL on a Tuesday as we get ready for an incredibly busy week. 1 college bowl game tonight, 2 on Wednesday, 1 on Thursday. But everybody's talking about, after last night, the NFL. And now with just 3 games to go, shout out to Liddy. Thank you very much. And that was for Mark's video. So thank you for that super sticker. So, guys, 3 games left. Everybody has played 14 games. Everybody is on even footing. But now it's time to look and see how things are going to move around, because home field could be paramount. Where you finish, the seed you have, could be paramount. So let's start in the AFC, because, DG, it's a little bit clearer in the AFC. The Chiefs, now, they may not have Patrick Mahomes this weekend, high ankle sprain. We'll talk about that in a moment. But they have a full 2-game lead over the Bills, sort of, but they would lose the head-to-head. So essentially, it's just kind of 1. The Steelers, they play them after the Texans. So when you look at this and how things are laid out, does anything jump out to you as far as seeding or where a team could be a sneaky, scary team in the playoffs for the AFC?
Yeah, I think you have to look at that 4-5 just for the simple fact that Houston takes on Kansas City, and if they can somehow get that win, you also then have Pittsburgh going against Baltimore this week. So 2 top 5 matchups that are happening just this week. There's a lot that could take care of. At that point, if you see those 4 and 5 teams sneak up and grab a win, that jumbles everybody up even more. And so I really think that this week is going to be big as we move forward.
I do too. This is going to change quite a bit. And Soupy, it's interesting because when you are in your playoffs in fantasy, let's say, and let's say the Ravens or a team that's out of it, but yet you have a player that still needs to play. How do you attack it from a fantasy perspective when you've got the haves and the have-nots?
It depends on if they're going to play. A lot of these teams are still going to play their players. That's why usually in fantasy football, they don't do week 18 championships. It ends at week 17, because week 18 is usually that we'll sit players whether we are in the playoffs or whether we're not. So as long as they're all healthy, they'll be in the lineup and you could put them in your lineup.
A lot of people are talking about the Bills, young Peyton. And they have given up over 80 points the last 2 weeks, but they have scored over 80 points the last 2 weeks. How dangerous are the Bills to you?
Extremely dangerous. That quarterback is healthy. And when you look at a team like the Chiefs, if I was a Chiefs guy right now, I want Patrick Mahomes posted up on the couch for the next 13 or 10 days, whatever it is. I know they got 3 games in 11 or something like that. But I want him posted up on the couch doing absolutely nothing so he's healthy for the playoffs. The Bills look fantastic. And also, if you go down to the 4 and 5 with the Texans and the Ravens, for the next 2 weeks, there's very important games there because, as DG said, you got the Ravens and Steelers playing. But then on Christmas Day, you got Ravens and Texans. So that's going to be a lot going on in those seedings.
And you also have the Steelers and the Chiefs on Christmas Day, which makes no sense to me that you would play on a Wednesday. That throws off everything, Big Chuck. But the NFL, they don't care. They want another whatever Netflix paid for those games. God bless them. But playing on a Wednesday, you're going to have to be laser focused. But they're 2 great games. Who could have thought that we would have those 2 matchups and they would matter so much?
Especially that Pittsburgh guy, KC. And then we're still wondering if Mr. Mahomes is going to play. I'm still, if you look at the lines, though, it kind of looks like he's going to sit out the Saturday game. So it looks like they're focusing on that one. So, yeah, that should be a very good game. And it's definitely going to have some playoff implications because the Ravens, they could still sneak up and get this AFC North at the same time.
They absolutely could. Who knows? Who knows? By the way, shout out to Big Cheesy. He says, my 2 favorite cappers are here today, DG and young Peyton. Peyton, you've got fans already. You're starting a fan base. How does that feel? Are you on mute?
Are you talking to me, Coach? You froze out on me. Are you talking to me?
What's wrong with my Wi-Fi today? Damn it. Yes,
no, that might have been my side because 2 of you guys froze out on me. But
I tell you what, yeah, Southern California with these fires, it's been an awful week when it comes to Wi-Fi. I missed an entire show last week because the Wi-Fi was out in Southern California. All these fires are crazy, crazy. All right, let's flip it over, guys, to the NFC. There's a lot more to unpack here. You've got 3 teams, DG, that are at 12-2. This is what the playoffs would look like if they started today because the Lions would own the tiebreaker. Now, we need to say that the Lions play the Vikings in the last game of the season. And so that's obviously going to change. But the Lions lost, count them, 4 starters just from the game on Sunday. 4. 3 on defense, and then David Montgomery on offense. Does that give you any pause when talking about that number 1 seed?
I don't think it gives me much pause just because this team is pretty deep, but it does worry me a little bit as they get into the playoffs. Getting to the playoffs and having a good seed, if not the top seed, I still think is a win for them. But because their offense is so dynamic, losing 1 guy isn't going to hurt them. Now, if they lose 2 or 3 on the offensive side, that would really slow them down.
It really would. Subi, let me come over to you because the way the Lions looked on Sunday, they couldn't stop anybody. I felt like I was watching Tecmo or Madden or something like that. That's not the kind of defense you want to have when you're heading into the playoffs, especially now that we know that 4 starters, Aiden Hutchinson was gone several weeks ago. So how can the Lions expect to stop anybody when they're playing backups on the defensive side?
I'm going to cute that more to the Bills. The Bills have just been on point. Josh Allen, to me, is the clear MVP. I think they'll be fine, even with losing David Montgomery. Yeah, you lost Knuckles, but you still have Sonic Jahmyr Gibbs. I think he can handle that backfield all on his own. And then Jared Goff, just the most efficient quarterback with Amon St. Brown, Sam Laporta. I think they're going to be just fine. But that Vikings game, the way the Vikings look, that's going to be a fun one to watch.
It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. The Vikings are very workmanlike, young Peyton. They're not spectacular. Sam Darnold doesn't make a lot of great plays, but man, they have a lot of good players in Addison and Justin Jefferson, and their defense is really fast and flies all over the field. Right now, they're at the 5 seed. If they stay there, boy, I would not want to play them on Wild Card Weekend.
I wouldn't either. And I don't think enough people are talking about Aaron Jones, who's been playing really well. He's been running the football great, and he's been catching the ball and running for great yardage. Sam Darnold, like you said, he hasn't made any, oh my God, what a play, but he's just been really solid, and that's all. That's really all you need for a winning team. And they've played some really good defense lately.
And they have Aaron Jones last night, 18 carries, 86 yards, 1 tutty. Matt says, Tecmo Bowl. Kids these days don't understand. Matt, truer words have never been spoken. Big Chuck, let me come over to you because when we look at the remaining schedules, Lions are Bears, 49ers, and Vikings, and the 49ers are a mess, but you can't overlook them. And then you got the Eagles playing the Commanders and the Giants. And then I wrote down at the Eagles. Obviously, they're not going to play themselves. And Seahawks, Packers, and Lions for the Vikings. When you look at that, who would you favor to get to that number 1 seed?
I would think probably the Eagles, but this game that they're going to play the Commanders, I think this is going to be a tricky spot, so they could definitely slip up. But I was really impressed with this Vikings team, so I think it's one of those two. The Lions are definitely limping into the playoffs, and if you remember this Vikings-Lions game when they originally played, the Vikings were winning. It took a valiant effort for the Lions to come back, so I'm sure they have that ingrained in their memory, so that should be a good one. But yeah, at this point, it would be the Eagles, and then the Vikings are right behind them.
Yeah, DG, that second game that I wrote down, that's Dallas. Dallas has played really well the last couple of weeks, so there are some trip-up spots for all 3 of these teams at 12-2.
There is, and Tampa Bay going into Dallas this week. Dallas playing well enough. I just think that Mike Evans is going to be so good for them, and then Philly eventually has to play Dallas, and so Dallas, they can be spoilers, and so at this point, Jerry Jones still thinks they're in the playoffs. They're not. They're not anywhere close, but they can be spoilers in this and kind of create a lot of chaos.
Well, let's look at that real quick. Where would they be? I mean, I think they're pretty much out of it at this point. As far as the records are concerned, yeah, they're 8th and they're 6-8, so they're done. They're absolutely done. Soupy, let me come over to you because a lot of times people don't talk about the 6 and the 7. If you're looking at this list of teams, who do you think could be a spoiler in the playoffs?
The Packers. I love the Packers. I've been very high on the Packers since the preseason. I love the way Jordan Love is playing. The Packers got rid of Aaron Jones, but they got Josh Jacobs, who's having a tremendous year himself. They're great on defense. I think they could win their first-round matchup.
I agree. Boy, look at the Packers' remaining schedule, young Peyton. They're at home to the Saints this week. Saints are terrible. They go to the Vikings, and then they're home to the Bears, and they should run with that. So I can see them finishing out 3 strong and having an outside chance, a very outside chance of winning the division. But right now, they just need to keep playing good football, which is exactly what they're doing every single week.
For sure. They got Jordan Love out there, and Josh Jacobs looks amazing for them right now. He's running so well, probably the best thing I've seen in his career thus far. And Jordan Love, man, he's throwing the ball really well. The Packers look great. We saw what they did last season in the playoffs, so I wouldn't be surprised to see somewhat of the same thing this season.
The one team, guys, Big Chuck, that nobody has mentioned, not even one time in the last 10 minutes, and that's the 3 seed, who just came out to L.A., scored 27 unanswered in the second half against the Chargers to win 40-17. Why are we not talking, Charles, about the Bucs and Baker Mayfield?
Because it's Baker Mayfield, and he can definitely be inconsistent. Even though I'm a Baker Mayfield fan, I also think this may be a trip-up spot against the Cowboys. They could definitely lose out, but that going against the Packers also, I think that'll be definitely a test for him. I'm not liking that spot, but yeah, I think it has to do with Baker he can be inconsistent at times. So even though he got into the playoffs, he had to run it. It's still Baker Mayfield, and he has his moments.
A lot of chatter going on today. Matt says Bill can't play defense. Tampa Bay are the sleeper, says Matt. Big Cheesy. Lions lost half their defense last weekend. There's a lot of teams that are missing a lot of guys, and so they have to. In fact, Dan Campbell, he was on the radio today, and he was very fired up, and that's the Dan Campbell that I love, not the one who butchered the end of that game, and he got crucified across the board. It wasn't just me. It wasn't just DTL. When you do an onside kick 12 minutes and you don't with 8, it absolutely makes no sense. But the Lions and Dan Campbell will fight no matter what, and that's the kind of head coach you want, guys. You want when you are missing 5 or 6 starters. Great discussion today. Thank you very much. All right, we're only about halfway home. When we come back, you guys know what time of the week it is. You wait for it. You crave it. You ask for it. It's time for soup or salad, courtesy of Prize Picks. We're doing all that and still to come. There's a big-time boxing match maybe nobody even thought about or wanted to think about. We'll discuss that also. It's DTL. It's Tuesday, and it's a vibe. All right, you degenerates out there. We're about halfway home. It's DTL on a Tuesday. Hit that like button on your way in here on a YouTube channel. DG, My sources in Kansas City have told me the ankle sprain for Patrick Mahomes is not as bad as we thought. But with a 2-game lead over the Bills, regardless, do you think they should sit him this Saturday against the Texans? Let's remember, they would only have Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday off, and then play Wednesday on Christmas Day. How do you take care of the best quarterback in the league?
I think that's the issue. The question with being that Wednesday game, it's a quick turnaround no matter what. So if he does play, I don't think he could play Wednesday. So at that point, you have to kind of pick and choose, where do we kind of go with him at? Because you can't play him on a Saturday, turn around and play him on a Wednesday, just because you don't want to hurt yourself for the future. And so I think at this point, I'm fine with either one. I just wouldn't play both.
I think that, to me, I would sit him. And I've thought a lot about this, Sue, because it's my squad. I would sit him on Saturday because you have Carson Wentz. If you had some other backup quarterback, maybe I wouldn't feel this way. But having a guy that started in the league for a long time makes me feel a little bit better.
100%. And that's why I'm going to tell you and say he needs to sit this coming game, play on Wednesday. There are 2 games up. But what happened last year when he had to go on the road for every single playoff game? I think that worked out for him. So I don't think they should be sweating whether or not they get the 1 or the 2 seed.
I'll tell you right now, I do not want to go to Buffalo, young Peyton, and play in January against that offense at all. We need that number 1 seed. What would you do?
Sit him. I mean, we don't know, obviously, the severity of it because we're not Patrick Mahomes. But if they're telling us about it, it's severe enough to where they should sit him, and they need to if they want a healthy quarterback down the stretch.
15 seconds, Big Chuck.
The line tells you all you need to know. The Chiefs were 3-point favorites on the look-ahead line. Now the Texans are minus 2-point favorites, so that lets you know right there what their plans are with Mr. Mahomes.
They always have a little inside information, don't they? Kevin said Saturday is the Pacheco and Hunt show. No doubt about it. By the way, they waived Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Oh, that Super Bowl seems so long ago now for him. We're back live in 5 seconds. Okay, welcome back, everybody. We're halfway home here on DTL on a Tuesday. And you guys know every single month we are forging different relationships. We're building for 2025 because we want to give you everything you could possibly want, whether it's straight plays, props, fantasy, but also prize picks. And when you've got a man on your crew who works for prize picks, when you have a young man who's going after the crown, literally, and is a prize picks expert, you got to put them head to head. You got to put them against each other. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Tuesday. It's time for soup or salad. All right, the OG, and here are the rules. Whoever wins the week before gets to go first the week later. So, young Peyton, who won last week between you and Mr. Soupy?
Coach, we all know who won last week. Come on now. You know I'm going first, baby. Let's go.
All right. What are we looking at today?
I'm taking SGA more than 32.5 points. It's a big number, but the Bucks allow 29 points a game to point guards. That's the most in the NBA to that position. And this is arguably the best scoring guard in the league right now. I'm also going with Dame at 23.5 points. This number, it's Damian Lillard, guys. This is just way too low of a number for Dame. The Thunder play some really good defense against guards, but they're not going to hold Dame to under 23.5. Come on now. I'm also going with Isaiah Joe at a red demon pick at 2.5 3-pointers made. He's hit this in 3 of his last 5 games. He's been shooting the ball really well, and the Bucks have had trouble defending the 3, so I like this as a demon pick as well.
A demon pick. Real quick, educate the audience at home. What does a demon pick mean?
A demon pick's just a higher projection for a higher payout. So if this usual 3-leg power play, if you power played, it would be 5 times your money. But since I'm going with this demon pick, it's going to 9 times your money.
And I will point out too, with prize picks, we are starting to now give out 1,000 times multiplier with some picks.
Did you say we?
We at Prize Picks are giving out
Okay.
1,000 times more. I work for them, so I can say we.
It's very true. I have a feeling that you're gonna get Peyton a job when he graduates in a couple of years. I can see that happening. Subi, how do you feel about the fact that Peyton's talking a little trash, not only here on the show this morning, but all week? All week he was talking.
I would be excited too when I don't win that much. I mean, your first win, bravo, here's your flowers. But, act like you've been there before.
All right. God, my eyes are off today. Okay. No Subi for you versus Chop Salad. I love you guys. You come up with so much creative stuff. All right. So we've seen Peyton's. So, Mr. Supi, we go from Little Lettuce to you, sir. What do you like today?
I'm also going to hit the NBA Cup. We're starting with Giannis. He's looking like the MVP right now. Going against OKC, they've allowed the fewest points to the power forward, 19.0 points per game. But he just faced Orlando, who are allowing 19.9 points, and he just hit 37 against them. So let me get him above his or below his point average for the year. And I also like Damian Lillard tonight. He's actually gone 20 points and 7 assists in 3 straight. This is about his average. And OKC, well, they're 25th in assist percentage. 66% of the points scored are by assist against OKC. And for my last pick, I'm going to the Ice. The Lightning, 5.2 goals per game over their last 5. Going against the Blue Jackets, they are 30th in goals allowed. They also give up a lot of shots on goal. Braden Point has hit this in 8 of his last 10. I think he gets over 2.5 shots on goal.
All right, so we've got some basketball. We have some hockey. Let's bring in the other guys because I love to get the reaction. Big Cheesy does not like Damian Lillard tonight. Young Peyton, he doesn't like Lillard tonight, so you got somebody against you. TJ says, I'm Team Beard. Let's have some soupy to slurp. I don't ever want to say that again in my career. But Big Chuck's giving this. Big Chuck, what did you just see from these two guys? Who are you favoring, soup or salad?
I kind of like both. I'm kind of split down because I like Dame. What I do is I like the Bucks. I think we're going to see points in this game. I think the Bucks are a good dog, so I'm liking Dame and Giannis both to go off. So I'm kind of split. Great job, guys.
DG, your thoughts on these picks?
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to go with Soupy. I have no clue about his hockey picks, so don't let me go there. But I will say that I like his 2 basketball picks because I don't like Isaiah Joe to go for 3 3-pointers tonight. He's not getting enough minutes, under 18 majority of the season, and most of it's coming early in the game. And so he doesn't play in the fourth quarter for the most part. So if you don't have it in the first 3 quarters, you're probably not getting that in that fourth.
Wow. Okay. Very, very well said. Now, guys, this is year number 2. And I feel like I think there's a lot of reasons for it, but for me, it's the fact that the college football playoff has been so popular. The NFL has been so good that now we are basically getting covered up. The NBA viewership is down through the first couple of months of the season, 48%. DG, let me come right back to you because you're my NBA guy. You host the Grizzlies postgame there in Memphis. What is the success in your mind of the NBA Cup? Because tonight, I mean, we're talking December 17th. We have 1 game, so they're treating it like it's the finals in June. Has it been a success?
It has been a success, and I think it's going to continue to keep getting better and better, but we're talking about it on the show. That's a success, in my opinion. I know viewership is down, and you can go into the weeds of whether or not it's because of the cable or maybe it's streaming, but overall, I think the game is in a better place than it has been. It just needs to be kind of embraced a little bit more, but the free throw has to go down. Tonight, we're going to see a free throw parade, unfortunately, because we have 2 of the highest free throw shooters tonight. Just getting to the line, not just overall shooting, but just getting to the line in Giannis and SGA. Besides that, I think the game and the cup as a whole is a good decision.
Soupy, let me come over to you because this could potentially be an NBA Finals preview. And I think that's the one thing that I really like about the NBA Cup is these players are super into it. You've got player 8 through 12 on the bench that don't make that much money. So they're getting $1 million if you can win this thing. So last year, LeBron was like, hey, let's win it for all the guys at the end of the bench that don't make any money. This year, I think that's a narrative that we can buy into because if you're making $500,000 as the minimum guy, $1 million bonus, let's go. I like that part of it, Soupy.
And, there's only about 13 men on a roster. So all these guys are tight. So they want to pull for these guys. and they are playing it like it's a legitimate championship. And if they're into it, I think it's getting the fans into it. I love watching. I'm definitely going to be watching this game tonight, especially because this could be an NBA Finals preview. OKC's been the best team in the Western Conference, and Milwaukee's starting to play a lot better. They've won 10 of their last 12. They are a legitimate contender now.
By the way, shout out to our resident benefactor, Roberto Bimbo, a super sticker. Now, I will say this, that Roberto is really smart because sometimes we have a lot of non-members, new people in the chat. Sometimes we don't. And today, because we've been gifting so many memberships, everybody's a premium member. That's what we want, right? So Roberto could have given memberships, but instead he says, hey, let's help the production of the show. And he gave a nice little super sticker. Roberto, you're amazing. Last night, Big Chuck, he won over $1,000. And I love when he wins, he gives back to the show. That's all we can potentially even ask for.
Robert's the man. He's always giving back. He's definitely inspiration to others. So, yeah, I love Bibbo.
Thank you. That was really inspiring there, Chuck. Really
I thought
inspiring.
it was myself.
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was fantastic. Young Peyton, you love the NBA. It's one of your specialties. But you come from a different perspective, which is why I love having you on the show. Is this something the NBA that when you guys go out to the bar and you're watching a game and you're playing your prize picks, is this something you guys are into?
Yeah, it's awesome because I see a lot more defense in these games. Like when we saw the Thunder and the Rockets, those two teams, that was a really exciting game to watch. We saw guys playing really hard defensively. Lou Dort, we all know, is one of the best players in the NBA, or defenders in the NBA, excuse me. Never catch me saying that again, players. But he's really solid out there defensively, and the Thunder is playing great defense, Rockets great defense. When we see regular NBA games, we don't see much defensively. We're seeing 130-point games some nights and just players just jacking up threes in the fourth quarter. If it's 20-point game, no one wants to watch that. That's why the NBA ratings are down. They're just, I don't know, the scoring is just getting a little out of control during the regular season.
I will say the last two nights have been two amazing games. We broke a record 48 threes with the Warriors and the Mavs. They scored 2,000 points. And last night, late night, the Nuggets and the Kings. Great game. Isn't it, Big Cheesy? Wasn't that a nice finish last night? Anybody see the finish of that, DG? The Kings at home not lighting the beam?
I think DeRozan is I think he's a bust for the Kings. Sorry,
Ooh.
Cheesy. I think he's a bust for the Kings.
He had it right there. All he had to do go up and finish, and he fumbled it, just like Big Cheesy did last year in the Super Bowl. Do we remember that one? You guys want to come after your boy? By the way, I need my one shot. Everybody's been cracking on my background this week. Are you kidding me right now? All right, me and producer, man, in the next 2 weeks in AB, we're going to work on my back. I don't know what's wrong with it. I think it looks very smooth, very nice, very good, but Liddy doesn't seem to think so. So I'll work on it, but you're not going to come at me. Big Cheesy says, I agree with DG. Yeah, DeRozan's terrible. Absolutely terrible. So real quick, I know tonight we don't really have a play from you, DG, but I would love to know, do you like Peyton's Thunder play at -5?
I do. It worries me a little bit, but I think that the Thunder have a much better team. But Milwaukee has been a team that's kind of been on a reckoning as of late. It's also going to come down to whether or not they can get Giannis involved, because I believe that Lou Dort and the defensive players for OKC will try to take Dame out of it and make him a facilitator, which that's the reason I like Soupy's play there for the prize picks for the 7 assists. So it depends on if they can get Giannis going. If Giannis gets going in that middle, there is nobody stopping. No Isaiah Hartenstein is going to stop Giannis, the freak.
Yeah, he's starting to play again like he played a couple of years ago. I think he's starting to remember who he truly is as one of the greatest players in the NBA. Robbie said, my background will look better if it was the club background, but you got to get in first. Okay. I like Japan's idea of the gym record behind you. KY4, you're about to get blocked. I don't know. I may take the rest of the week off. I'm catching strays that normally are reserved for Soupy, and I don't know how I like it. Not at all. Peyton thought that was funny. Thank you, Peyton. I appreciate you. You get 5 days a week now. You get 5 days a week. All right, still to come, a boxing match or fight that you didn't even know you wanted, and maybe we don't. It's coming up. It's DTL. It's Tuesday, and it's kind of a weird vibe. All right, you degenerates out there watching on our YouTube channel, do not forget to hit that like button for us. It really helps the show grow. Big Chuck, rumors are coming out again that there is a new pitch for a 96-team Super League in soccer. Is it going to pass this time? Because from a betting perspective, that could be bananas.
I personally would love to see it. I love how they're formatting everything now, but I don't think it'll ever pass. Too many politics go into this. Somebody will block it. Somebody will cry about it. It'll never pass, but I would love to see it personally. Absolutely.
DG, I feel like this could lead us to what we could see in college football, just one really big conference, so we don't have to argue about all this SEC and Big Ten crap.
This would be great. Anytime that you can have this many teams and all be in one conference and going for one championship, I don't care what sport it is. It could be soccer, football, or hockey, or the other football, maybe, whatever, and it would be great. So I love a big conference.
Soupy, I think this is kind of where everything is headed. There's a lot of moving parts, but man, how cool would this be? Not only in soccer with all those big names overseas, but also here in the States if we're talking college football.
It all depends on when you talk to these owners, and you just got to say, this will make you a lot more money. When you throw dollar signs at them, things start to get moving. But I remember they were talking about this a few years ago, and because of a lot of the politics and everything, it didn't happen. So yeah, we'll see if it happens this time around.
Young Peyton, what about you? What would you like to see? Super League's something you would like? You're in? What are you laughing at?
Because the only thing I know about soccer is that Big Chuck is right about everything he says. I don't know how he hits every pick, but he does. So I'd rather just listen to Big Chuck talk about soccer.
You know what? A lot of people would say that. He has been red freaking hot. Red freaking hot. By the way, shout out to our resident benefactor, Roberto Bibbo. 5 more Driving the Line memberships. What we need to do now, because you got to be watching live, and it's good for a month, is bring new friends to the table that are not members. Get them into the chat. Get them talking, and then they could get a membership. It's very, very easy. Let's spread the word as we grow. 2025 is going to be a gigantic year for us. I'm telling you right now, we have so many plans. We're back in 5 seconds. Okay, welcome back, everybody. It's DTL on a Tuesday. Do not forget a little bit of housekeeping. DTL, the podcast, you get the audio around 2 p.m. Eastern time for all of you crew members. And there's a ton of premium members in the chat today, a ton. Thank you to Roberto Bibbo for 5 more premium memberships gifted. If you are a premium member, you get the video of the podcast every single day. It's never longer than 20 or 30 minutes at all. By the way, programming update. We will have a very special college football playoff show Wednesday, tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. We're not taping it. We're going to do it live so you guys can participate. We're going to break down all 4 of the early games, the on-campus games that start this weekend, 1 on Friday, 3 on Saturday. Real quick, DG, because we're 3 days away, but I'm starting to get hyped already because your squad, who you've been on early and the entire season, they've got a chance to change the fortunes of their entire university and now make it a football school also. Truly taking your fandom out, what are the chances you think Indiana has this week going in-state to Notre Dame?
I think they have a really good chance. It's going to have to start early, though, because they have to, I guess, show that they belong there with Notre Dame. Notre Dame has the better talent. I think that's understood. But if they can keep it close by half, I think they're going to be okay. But the problem is like we saw, they scored in the first drive against Ohio State, and then it kind of fell off from there, and then too many self-inflicted wounds. But if they can kind of keep it close by half, I think they have a chance.
Notre Dame, Soupy, at least the way the rules are right now, they're never going to get a bye. I think they're going to tweak that by next year to go by seedings instead of you get a bye if you know. I think that's the one tweak because it's really not fair to make Notre Dame join a conference. But now you can see the power of the brand as they are the one game, the only game on Friday night.
And it's going to be an exciting game. These two teams haven't played since 1991. That's kind of shocking for an in-state rival. I looked at how they played, how Indiana played against Ohio State, and just DG mentioned they got in their own way. You look at it the week before, same thing happened against Michigan, but they were lucky enough that Michigan had no offense. Notre Dame, they know how to run the ball. Jeremiah Love, Riley Leonard are incredible on the ground. Ryan Leonard can do enough in the pass. I think Notre Dame gets away with this one. I think they move on to the next round.
What about you, young Peyton? This is right up your wheelhouse. Notre Dame, and they just gave their head coach another extension yesterday or the day before. He's going to be there for many, many years to come. This Notre Dame team feels like they're back, especially after that loss to Northern Illinois.
Yeah, they look really good, and they're playing some really good football. Their offense looks great. Like Soupy mentioned, the run game looks fantastic. I don't really see Indiana hanging around much in this game, but I hope they do, as I'm not really a fan either way. I'm hoping this is a close game, but I do see Notre Dame kind of pulling away with this one.
Okay, right now it is Notre Dame -7 at ESPN Bet. The total 51.5. There are 2 other bowl games on Friday, and then there's a couple on Wednesday and then on Thursday. All right, you guys know what time it is. A lot of you weren't here at the top of the hour. That's okay, because all of my guys have you covered. We got bets all over the board tonight and today. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the whip around. All right, Big Chuck, we got 4 plays, a little bit of a futures, as not a lot of soccer today, but people can get jumping on the lines before they move for tomorrow and on Thursday. Start us off.
Spain, La Liga, Villarreal, Rayo Vallecano, the both teams to score. This is casting 7 of their last 10 meetings. Then this is Thursday action, the Europa Conference League with Heidenheim and St. Gallen's, the both teams to score, and over 2.5 with Heidenheim basically averaging 1 goal at home and St. Gallen 2 on the road. Lastly, blowout spot, Chelsea and the Shamrock Rovers. Chelsea first half team total over 1.5 goals, and Chelsea team total over 3.5 goals. 4-0, 5-0 blowout spot.
If you guys haven't been paying attention to Chelsea this year, they are the most fun team to watch, I think, in the world right now. They are dynamic. Soupy, 2 plays. Let's go.
Let's start with the Ice Kings, Penguins. Kings, best overall defense, allowing the fewest goals, allowing the fewest shots on goals. Penguins, man, they have no defense. Offense is kind of mediocre. I think this game could be a 3-1, 4-1 win for the Kings, so I'll stay with the under. Tomorrow night, UNLV. California's not going to have their starting quarterback. UNLV will, and most of that starting defense, I think they get away with the win tomorrow night.
DG, talk to me.
Basketball tonight, we're going Jacksonville State, Missouri. We're going to go over the 146.5 to -115. Both these teams are very efficient. I expect it to go the over. And then the bowl game, which is tonight, is the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl. Memphis team total over the 31.5. It's at -108.
Young Peyton. Little Lettuce, you're up.
Thunder up, coach. The Bucks are going to have a hard time scoring tonight against the Thunder defense. They got guys rotating really well. They got the better athletes in this matchup, and they have the best defensive rating in the league. So I'm going to take the Thunder to cover the 5 tonight. And then I'm also going to take the New York Rangers money line at -105. They're coming off back-to-back losses, and I see them beating the Predators tonight in their own building.
All right. Very, very good. By the way, does anybody else, whenever you're going through bowl season, because I don't know how much DG Scooters Coffee has to pay, but there are companies every single year I go, I didn't even know they existed, and they're sponsoring a bowl game, which means they've got to have some money. You ever think that, DG?
Every year. I don't even know who Scooters Coffee is. I saw somebody else say that another coffee brand was better than them. And I was like, I don't even know who Scooters is. So I would agree.
Clearly. By the way, think about this. Roberto Bibbo says, I can't wait for the first DTL meet and greet. I say it should be somewhere in the middle of the country, so DG, Ohio probably, so no one has to travel all the way across the country. How much fun could that be? How about we meet in Kansas City or St. Louis?
I'm available.
We should.
Wouldn't
You
be much
know
fun.
what would be fun? Go ahead, Peyton.
So I would say it wouldn't be much fun if you take Frontier.
That's very true. That's very true. I think it would be amazing to have everybody show up and then play a game because whether it's Liddy or Big Cheesy or we don't know what anybody looks like, to guess what we think guys would look like based off of their personalities in the chat. I think that would be kind of fun. That'd be kind of fun.
That'd be amazing. Coach, what big event, if you had to have like a big meet and greet, what big event is it? Is it the Super Bowl? The answer?
No. Can't do the Super Bowl. Too much action, too much stuff. It's the Final Four. Final Four, you got to do it. Super Bowl, I went there a couple of years. It's a madhouse. It's an absolute madhouse. All right, a couple more housekeeping items, and then we got to get the hell out of Dodge. You guys got to enjoy your day. The Howie Schwab Crew play of the day that we're going to root together, it's Memphis minus the 5. Howie loved bowl season. He loved college football. He loved college basketball. Shout out to Howie. We remember him every single day here on the show. We end every show with Raphael's stat of the day. And today we go to Nashville, the Predators. They're 2-12 against Eastern Conference opponents. I'm telling you that most of the time, these cash or they lead to a cash. So the Nashville Predators are 2-12 against Eastern Conference opponents, and tonight they play St. Louis, the Blues. All right, tomorrow, what are we looking forward to with the college football show? DG, we have about 30 seconds.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to just hearing about Indiana and the breakdown between Indiana and Notre Dame, because it's going to be good, because I want to hear a little bit more in-depth stuff, because I'm trying to do my research now. And so I want to hear a little bit more about that and get in depth a little bit from AB.
Soupy, does Prize Picks do college football a lot?
Oh, we've got all the bowl games, all the college football playoff games, and I will be doing articles for the college football playoffs and bowl games all season long.
If you can post those, then we can retweet them. That would be amazing. Real quick, young Peyton, 10 seconds. Your excitement for the show tomorrow, which you're not going to be on.
Can't wait to watch some Rant Wednesday, Coach.
That's my man. Rant Wednesday. Big Chuck, give me 5 seconds.
And speaking of Indiana, I definitely like them to cover and the under in that particular game.
There you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for you to go out into the world, for you to pay it forward, be kind to one another, be honest with each other. It's the only way that this thing can work. And understand this, there's only one thing left to do. And I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. My entire crew, love ball. My man from the Dirty Big Chuck. Best beard in the game, Soupy. Young Peyton, Little Lettuce. My man from Memphis, Tennessee, DG. And producer man, always behind the scenes, trying to make up for our mistakes. I am simply the coach, trying to keep this train on said track. We grind for you so we can win with you. It's truly what we're all about every single day right here at DTL. Good luck.